Hello and good morning. This is your Professor Guerra Pujol. I'm not today in Orlando. I am in Little Rock. You can see the Arkansas River behind me as I will be presenting a paper of mine at the University of Arkansas Little Rock campus. And I would therefore like to begin by apologizing for not being able to be there in person in order to orchestrate the group activities that we'll be doing today in class. Again, I apologize I cannot be there in person. As a poor substitution, what I'd like to do is simply go over via this video what the group activity will entail for this class. Again, I thank you for your indulgence, and I want you to get the most out of this class. Each of the groups will be given a group worksheet. It'll have 3 parts to it, and the first part is real simple. Well, I should say 4 parts, because I would like you to put down your group number, not your table number, but your group number, and then go ahead and sign in your name and print your name and your UCF ID so we can have a record of your attendance to give you credit for attending. But the rest of the assignment, the actual meat and potatoes of the assignment, is as follows. First, you'll be taking someone in the table, or maybe you guys can take turns from different tables, but I'd like each group to take a group photo, and I'd like you to post that group photo onto 2 social media sites. If you could add some hashtags like hashtag UCF or hashtag BUL3130, that would be great. I think that's something fun. You can always look back, you have some kind of memory of this class. Then what I'd like you to do is tell me what form of intellectual property would that picture be, and also who would own the legal rights to that picture, or who should be the owner of that picture. That's something the group can discuss as a whole and try to reach some consensus. I think if you've been watching my weekly videos and reading the textbook and doing the assignments, you should be able to work that one out pretty easy. On the reverse side of your worksheet is the next part of the project, and that is go online and find the terms of use or terms of service. If it's Facebook, they call their terms of use statement of rights and responsibilities. Go and look through that. The terms of use of those 2 sites to which you have posted your group photo along with the hashtags, and see if you can find any provision in those terms of use that might define or determine who is the legal owner of those pictures once you post them onto the social media site. And then compare and contrast those provisions of those 2 sites, social media platforms. The idea here is that you can begin to see why contract law is so important. In the 4th part of the course, we'll look at what makes a contract legally enforceable, how you make a contract. Here, I just want to show you that one of the things contracts do is determine the legal rights of the parties, in this case, ownership over a picture that's posted onto a social media site. Finally, I want the group to debate, and this is more opinion-based, based on ethics. Do you think those contract provisions are fair? Why or why not? And that's open-ended. If you've watched the videos on ethics or read chapter 2 of the textbook, I discuss the main theories of ethics, or you could just use your intuition, your common sense. But I'd like to see if there's a group consensus as to the fairness or ethicality of these terms of use as to who the owner of these pictures are. Now, the 3rd and last part of the assignment is your 2nd worksheet. My TAs, I like to say that your TAs as well, my graduate teaching assistants, they'll be handing out a 2nd page to you that contains the Mike Tyson tattoo case. Now, this is a really, really important case. In fact, I was just earlier this morning, I was sent a link saying, or dealing with a court case dealing with the rights of tattoos that are on NBA players. So this is a live issue. That case might very well get appealed. But back in 2011, the movie The Hangover Part 2 was going to come out, and it was going to come out on Memorial Day weekend, which is the biggest box office weekend in Hollywood historically. And I will say also that generally, whatever weekend a movie is released, generally that first weekend is the biggest weekend. Now, in terms of just gross revenues. On the back side of your Mike Tyson tattoo problem, you'll see I've given you some information about how much the original Hangover Part 1 made, to give you some idea of the top type of money we're talking about. What ended up happening is that the tattoo artist who famously put the face tattoo, a Maori-inspired face tattoo on Mike Tyson, sued Warner Brothers, the studio that released or was about to release Hangover Part 2, he sued the studio for copyright infringement. By the way, the Maori are an indigenous people native to New Zealand, and they're really known for what anthropologists refer to as body art, these very intricate geometrical tattoo patterns. And what happened here is that the tattoo artist, whose name is Victor Whitmill, just a few weeks before the studio was about to release the movie, he sued for copyright infringement. And he requested the court a very powerful remedy known as an injunction. And what an injunction does is it basically tells you, you can't do this. The court could have enjoined the movie studio from showing the movie. Now, if you're, an executive at a Hollywood movie studio, you do not want to have a court telling you that you can't show your movie on Memorial Day weekend. If you're the owner of a copyright and you feel your copyright has been infringed, you do want to have that remedy because that gives you a lot of leverage over the studio to negotiate a fair deal. Here's what I want you to do. Those of you sitting on one side of the table, I want you to represent the tattoo artist. Those of you sitting on the opposite side of your table, I want you to represent Warner Brothers. If you're sitting at the end, I'd like you to function as a mediator to help the two sides come to an agreement. And what I'd like you to do is just on the bottom of that second page, just go ahead and write, figure out if you can reach a deal, if you can reach a settlement to avoid taking this case to court, to avoid going before a jury or avoid the judge making a decision on whether to issue the injunction. If you're Warner Brothers, how much money are you willing to pay the tattoo artist to make him go away and drop the lawsuit? And if you are the tattoo artist, or if you're representing the artist, how much money at a minimum are you willing to accept, or what kind of a deal are you willing to accept in order to drop the lawsuit? This is a very important assignment because what I really want to teach you with this is a very important concept, perhaps the most important concept you're going to learn up to this point. And that is the idea of bargaining in the shadow of the law. When one party sues another party, oftentimes neither party wants to take their case all the way to trial because there's a lot of risk involved. Think of the Mike Tyson tattoo case, for example. If you're the tattoo artist and you take your case all the way to trial, or you let the judge decide on the injunction, what happens if the judge rules against you? What happens if the judge says, no, a tattoo is not copyrightable? Or Warner Brothers, when they use your copy of the tattoo, it was fair use. Well, you get zero. You spent all this money bringing this lawsuit and you get zero. The same type of calculation applies to Warner Brothers because there's also a small risk that maybe the judge will issue the injunction and will rule that this is not fair use. And so the idea is that I want you to get thinking about in business is that litigation usually leads to some form of settlement. That a case that goes all the way to trial or gets appealed is very unusual. Most cases get settled. So that's what this exercise is about. I hope you have fun. I hope you enjoy the activity. You'll definitely see me back in the flesh in 2 weeks' time when we do corporate governance. And I'll look forward to seeing you back then. Have a great time. Enjoy the activity. As soon as you get done, you can go ahead and turn in your sheet. Make sure my TA staple them, and you can take off. Have a great weekend. I know there's a huge game on Saturday. I won't be there for it, but I wish us Knights the best, and have a great weekend. Please stay safe, and blessings to all. Take care. Bye-bye.